Hello, I'm Jackson Smith, and this is my review persuasive speech. So imagine 40-hour work weeks, intense physical labor, while you make $15,000 a year in the form of a free education while your employer makes billions off of your talent and your success. This is the job of a D1 college athlete nowadays. I'm a viewer of college athletics. I'm also a student here at UT, so I know the educational workload that is involved with being a student. I also was a student athlete in high school, so I know how both sides of the table work. I'll tell you how and why the NCAA athletes should be paid and to stop this corruption which exists within the NCAA. These athletes get no money from their ticket sales, which is people buying tickets to spectate their event. They also get no money from their jersey sales, which use their likeness. For instance, this is a number 1 Tennessee jersey, but it is clearly to any Vol fan a Jalen Hurd jersey. Even though they do not use his name, it is still obvious it is a Jalen Hurd jersey to anyone that watches UT football. Also, Jay Billis, a famous sports broadcaster, a couple years ago made a fool out of the NCAA when he showed that when searching for jerseys, if you type in the name, you can find the jersey of the athlete, showing directly how the NCAA is using their likeness to build a bigger market. And these athletes are not just given their talent, they have the heaviest workload in the U.S., I believe, between academics and athletics. The National Labor Relations Board, in their report they released, estimates 40 to 50-hour work weeks for these athletes during their seasons. Because of this, the student athlete becomes compromised when the education suffers, and this can also affect their future income. CNN writer Chris Idesor, in his article, shares a story about a Northwestern QB who was advised to change his plans from being a pre-med major in order to satisfy the demands of the workload his sport was requiring him to do. Greg Johnson, in his article, The NCAA Makes Billions but Student Athletes Get None of It, claims that athletes put in nearly double the amount of work for their sport than required as for their education. No other student can't be paid, and I believe this is unethical when you look at the benefits these athletes are giving their schools. For example, a school like Gonzaga or Boise State, I do not know if those schools would come off the top of my head if not for their success in their sports programs. Mark Edelman, associate professor of law at Baruch College in New York, gives a specific example of this. In 1984, Doug Flutie won the Heisman for Boston College. In that following fall, the admissions went up by 25 points, and the SAT score went up by 110 points. Preventing the athlete from marking also causes corruption when coaches and boosters begin paying these athletes under a table, and this also requires NCAA to put efforts forth to stop these issues. These athletes work more than the average full-time American without any of the benefits. Because of this, they fall victim to the corruption which exists in the NCAA. Since we now see the problem, we need an agreeable solution. Athletes need incentive for the time commitment and the health risk with which they are putting themselves at. I'm not saying they should get checks every week. I do account for the fact they get a free education, but they should be able to mark themselves just as the NCAA does. In Brian Frederick's U.S. News article, he offers up a solution in which these athletes receive full-time health insurance. I think this is a good idea because of the recent research showing the health risk involved with these sports. This solves the problem of the health risk, but it still leaves the athletes with empty pockets while the NCAA makes billions off their labor. These athletes should be able to sign endorsements or be advertised. It allows them to benefit them from the hard work that they've made to make a name. So this compromise is reachable without paying these athletes like a pro, but still allowing them to benefit from their hard work and the market they have worked to create. So now that we see the problem has a solution, and why should you care, and how will the changes benefit you as a viewer? It's no secret the U.S. loves the sports. We do not want the NCAA to crumble. This gives athletes an incentive to play out their eligibility and also play harder to make a name for themselves. Overall, this will create a better competition for everyone watching and a greater spectacle. This may cost the NCAA money at first, but it is ethical, and their market will grow as they revolutionize the way they do things. And this also reduces the bad media they gain from suspensions when all these athletes and big-name coaches are suspended for these infractions they commit. Now that we conclude, it's necessary to make changes for both parties. What can we do as viewers and students to ensure the NCAA solves these issues to make better entertainment? Athlete workloads and injury risk prevent these athletes from having the best opportunities to succeed academically and educationally. These rules the NCAA can enact will allow them to have a greater opportunity to do so. And it also makes a greater event for everyone. So I urge you to write your AD or your NCAA board member and explain to them how these athletes have been done an injustice. This will benefit countless of NCAA athletes, maybe even your kids, and it also makes it better entertainment for everyone who loves sports. I love college sports, and the respect I have for these athletes who are able to graduate while playing a sport cannot be expressed. It's hard enough to be a student alone as it is. And as you watch the game tonight, think about all the hard work those athletes have put in to be where they are tonight, and tell them that they do not deserve more than what they're getting paid right now. Thank you.